Thanks, guys, for joining me for the inaugural Momentum 2025. It's been a couple of months in the planning, and super keen to obviously share this experience with you guys, and obviously talking about our experiences with mental health, but also why we support Movember and why it's so important to us. For me, Movember is all about connecting with mates, making sure that in our communities, the men in our communities are well. The stats aren't getting any better, and so doing something proactive about that is definitely right up my street. And hopefully tonight this is a part of that. And I'm very happy that you're all joining in for us this evening. Obviously, a couple of us have Movember fundraising pages, and throughout the night or throughout the event, very happy if you want to jump on and make a donation. Nick and I do. Josh, I'm not sure if you do, Josh. I haven't actually had a look, but if you guys wanted to make a donation to our pages, just head to our Instagram pages, click on those links, and make any donation. It all helps. Some of the points that we're going to share tonight, they're all from our personal experiences. We're not psychologists, we're not healthcare professionals, but if you or someone you know needs some help or is struggling, please reach out for support in the jurisdictions and areas you're in. There's obviously the mental health hotline, lifeline, any of those services that are available. So without further ado, we might kick off with you, Liam. So Liam, obviously you run a pretty awesome company in Sydney called Lawn King, and I've purchased products from you before and had a couple of mowers serviced by you in the past. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I've always been a lawn guy. I never worked at Macca's as a kid. I never had like a traditional first job. I ran a mowing circuit. I had 20 clients from the time I was about 12 till I could drive. Yeah, so lawn care has always been like a passion of mine, and that was instilled in me by my parents, who were avid gardeners, and so too their parents as well. So when I got my own house, my wife was actually the driving force. She was the one that said, "No, we have to have a cooch," because that's what my grandfather had. And
Yep.
a landscaper who was a buddy of mine said to me, I'll put Santa and a cooch down." He goes, "But don't you become one of those wankers that mows it real low and gets obsessed with it." And true to form,
Oh, damn, that didn't work out.
within 6 months, I had 3-cylinder mowers. So, um, which I think is a story we can probably all relate to. So, yeah, from then it just spiraled. It spiraled into fixing machines, and then fixing friends' machines, and then hiring out machines, and then we just kept tacking on services, so, to the business. Like the fertilizer was an obvious thing that we could tack on, um, and borrowing from my background in marketing, doing a little bit of content was a thing that we could tack on. And then 18 months ago, yeah, we took the plunge and got a factory and took the business out of the garage at home, much adulation from my wife. We reclaimed half of our garage, and yeah, it's just been a whirlwind kind of ascension. But yeah, it's not without its perils. Like, it is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of big hours, and yeah, you're playing in a very different ball game when you turn it from a hobby into a proper business. So yeah, the
Yeah.
last 12 to 18 months starting that business and learning and kind of having everything you thought you knew reset was a big thing for me, for sure.
I guess part of the success of your business too is like your point of difference from my perspective anyway is that you actually try to get to know your customers. You get to know their needs, and you form those connections with people, and then we feel like we're more likely, to trust what you're saying, and to come back to you for advice, or products or things like that. So whatever you're
Mm.
doing, keep doing it,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of positive commentary around your business and the services you offer.
yeah, thanks, mate. No, I appreciate that. Look, ultimately, that is our point of difference, is that we are an end user too. We're not just guys that service cylinder mowers, we're guys that mow with them. And we're not just guys that sell these products, we're guys that use them, right? So that gives us a depth of knowledge that we can then pass on to the customer, and induct new guys into the fold too. Welcome new guys into a community that's been, so good to all of us. So
Yeah, absolutely. Can you like reflect on a time where you felt most pressure, either whether it's to do with the business or anything personal, and how you've overcome it and gone through it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think for me, I'm a fairly resilient fella. Like, we all try to be kind of stoic men and weather the storm and do all that kind of stuff. And I think for me, there was really two key moments in my life. Um, One of them was a couple of years ago when I married my wife, and that was not. I must stress that was not the stress point. Was marrying her. She's a saint, but that was a
She's
time
watching,
in
isn't
my
she?
life where I was really, really busy. I was in like in a high pressure sales role. I was just about to pen this massive deal. We were turning 30, we were moving into our first house, and we were getting married in the same year. Like,
Why
talk
not?
about biting off as much as you can chew and chewing like hell, right? So we did that, and I vividly remember, and this is the reason I'll never go back to IKEA. I was having a panic attack in the car park of IKEA just
Jeez.
because everything was dawning on me, and I'm like, where's all this money coming from? How are we spending all this money? Like, is it ever going to stop? Like, yeah, I had a full blown like physical panic attack, like flutter in the heart, short of breath, the whole thing. And one of the things that got me through that was the fact that I had this great network of mates who'd all been married and gone through the stress and whatever. And I could say to them, hey, is this like a normal physical, like visceral reaction to this stress? And they were like, yeah, like it totally is, you know?
Mm.
And having that network around me was fantastic because I knew that I had guys that I could rely on, that I could borrow from their experience. And I guess I could see guys that had been through it and come out the other end. So, and then similarly, that same level of stress and panic probably 12 months ago, starting the business, we went from spending a couple of grand a month on parts and supplies to spending tens of thousands of dollars and having the stress of the rent from the factory and then having to cover the mortgage from home. And like, again, where's all this money coming from? That same stress. Um, yeah, and I think that's probably something that a lot of small business owners can relate to as well. It's just the gravity of what you're doing and the importance of your role. It can be really, really, really stressful. And look, it some guys handle it really, really well, and some guys cave under it, and that's totally fine too. But we need to acknowledge that it happens. That
Mm.
stress is real for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some of part of like what are parts of your kind of self-care routine or things you do to look after yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've got in the limited time I do have off, it should come as no surprise to anyone that I love tending to the house. Like that's my downtime. I'll put a
Mm.
podcast in, I'll mow the lawn, I'll trim the hedges, I'll water way more tomato plants than we'll ever need in our entire life. But then also a big thing for me for the last decade or so has just been making sure I stay active. Like I know for myself that if I don't get to the gym in a couple of days, I start to go a bit loopy. My sleep gets real bad, my energy gets really bad. Like so, I have to stay active. So
Mm.
yeah, that's probably the one linchpin. And then just a little treat yourself. Like I get a haircut every week. Maybe that's vain to some people, but I love it, and that's something that makes me feel really good. I feel like I'm 10 foot tall when I leave the barbers every Friday. But that's something that's important to me. It's part of my routine. It's non-negotiable.
Mm.
Yeah, it has to happen. So just little things like that. Just making time for yourself. Certainly meet your obligations to work. Certainly meet your obligations to family. But then I think you have to carve out just a little bit of time, an hour a day to go to the gym, 30 minutes to go to the barbers, whatever it is that makes you feel like a superstar, you just got to make time for that.
Yeah, no, wonderful. And I think that's an awesome segue for you, Josh. And I guess your kind of interest in keen golfer, and that's kind of how your page started. And here we are.
Yeah, I'm still trying to fathom how that sort of happened. But yeah, for me, yeah, I guess lawn care was an escape. I guess that became my new way to escape. I've had a pretty rough history with mental health myself. So, only in sort of the last 12 months have I got a diagnosis for a few mental health conditions. One of them
Mm.
being alcohol use disorder. So, using that as a coping mechanism for so long tends to, start weighing you down, and then those other disorders start, showing up, such as depression and anxiety. And as the life pressures that Liam's just run us through, right? I don't run a business, but I still have a family to look after, and family and a house to provide for. So that's probably one of the biggest stresses for me. But I can't stress the communication and network piece enough. I've seen many psychs and psychiatrists and counsellors and that sort of stuff over my short-lived life. It's been the best thing that's always helped me. It's one of those things that for me, I know I'm going to have to go ongoing and deal with that for probably a few more years as I continue to outgrow that. But that's just a part of my life. So I'm 14 months sober now, which really lays into sorting out those other disorders. But the family, I guess. I'm going to try to answer all your questions that you kind of just threw at Liam, I guess. So the lawn care piece is really good for me. A nice little fun fact that I only shared with the group last week was that 2 years ago when I decided to get into lawn care, Nick's lawn program was actually what I ordered first off, and that's what got me to where I am. So plug here, I guess.
Well, you got that. You've got for me. Send them through.
Yeah, so that's been a huge help. That's now what I use as my escape. So I can't stress that enough. As Liam said, find what works for you. For me, that's the lawn. But even more so than that, it's taking every chance I can get to take the afternoon and go spend it at the park with my son, get some family time in. To me, that's worth its weight in gold and worth more than anything else. So just being able to do that and limit the distractions, and that is my focus. That's my why. That's why I do everything I do. That's why, that's why we all do it, right? At the end of the day. But there's a short snippet. I'm trying to keep it sharp. I have a tendency to tangent off into 10 different stories. So I think I've kind of done that to keep them relatively short.
It's good. And you mentioned early on is like the need for regular support and ongoing, and having to revisit that. And I think, like, from my own personal experiences, that's something that I think we'll do for the rest of our lives. Once you engage in support, you very quickly see how beneficial it is. And even though it gets to a point where you might not be doing it every week, a check-in once or twice a year with a professional like that is so invaluable sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they don't know you, right? So they're a stranger, and that can be absolutely daunting to people. And I understand that, having gone through it myself. But you do get comfortable with that. Hence why we're all on this call right now talking about our own personal experiences to X amount of people across the globe. It does get easier in terms of talking to people, but the fight always continues, right? It's just small little battles that you keep winning. Having that health professional that you can lean into, that isn't judging you or hasn't seen you at a certain point in your life and are judging you against that or anything like that. They're purely there to help you. They don't care, right? Wrong words. They don't care what, about those other little things, right? They're there to help you in the moment and what are the current issues, okay? So, they're perfect for it, and they have an endless amount of tools in their toolbox, some that you wouldn't even think exist, but And
I think on that maybe, Josh, as well, I think the benefit of that professional help is that they're impartial too. Like, if you only ever speak to friends and family, sometimes they can maybe coddle the message a little bit. They can just kind of validate some behaviour that may or may not be the best for you. Sometimes you need someone to step in and just go, actually, no, that's not normal. It might be normal for you, but that's not normal. Or, you might need to course correct here just a little bit, change it 5 or 10%. So I think that was really brave to make that step, man.
No, I appreciate that. But and family's your next best option as well, right? If your family are there to support you, and they're the ones closest to you, so they know you almost better than you know yourself to a degree. So I know I'm going to use this chance to shout out my brother and my beautiful wife. I know they're the two that I go to most in those moments when I need them. So absolutely adore you both, and thank you very much for everything you do for me.
Absolutely, thank you, mate, for sharing. And Nick, so you had the MCG in your yard at one point. You've got your lawn care products and programs, and you're running a veggie patch. Probably not anywhere near Liam's productivity, but mate, you're doing
not with
what?
Melbourne's weather either.
Well, late particularly. So yeah, tell us, obviously, for those that don't know, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so similar to a lot of people, when we got our first house, is when I started to get into lawn care. We had a giant pile of rubble on the front yard, so that was cleared away, and then I thought it was all dead, but of course it was kikuyu, which just came back out from nowhere, and yeah, just gradually enjoyed the mowing and the lawn trimming and looking after things, and started going down YouTube rabbit holes and all that sort of thing, and then yeah, fast forward to today, and it's my job, my life, basically, to be, yeah, focusing on the yard and doing all that sort of thing, and helping other people with it, having built up, yeah, sort of an audience over those years, since I first kind of got into it, and then eventually was posting on my personal Instagram story, and my wife was like, "Come on, you got to make a page." I was like, "No, no, 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 no."
She was right.
And so,
Absolutely
yeah,
right.
so it was good call by her. I think it's coming up to 4 years since I actually started the page. So yeah, it's been a while. But no, it's all good fun. It's all really good to be able to, yeah, I don't know, getting messages and stuff from people. Some of the most rewarding that's, relevant to tonight probably is just messages from people who had a dust bowl, or they had, no yard, and now they've sent photos, and their kids are out there and they run around on it and that sort of thing, which I think is something I've tried to plug into videos and stuff as a bit of a message over the years, is kind of creating a space to enjoy with lawn care. And so even I got a photo on my phone from tonight. Baby's on a little mat under a bit of shade, and the boys are there, set up some cricket stumps, and I was smacking the bat hard into the ground. I was like, boys, take it easy. I've only just top dressed. I'm not doing it again. It's, we'll have to move the crease around each time, I reckon, if it becomes a regular thing. But yeah, for me, it's that enjoyment and being able to enjoy the lawn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, mate, I have to ask. Sorry, I just got to ask. When's the cricket pitch getting rolled in, mate? You had the MCG. Yeah, you may as well make it the Boxing Day test, right?
It sounds like a challenge.
I don't know. It's, yeah, like maybe, never say never. But yeah, if I'm gonna do it, I'd have to do it properly again, wouldn't I? Like boundary rope and the little padding, the little triangular.
Oh, 100%, mate. No shortcuts.
Yeah, so it'd be an effort, but
just make sure you don't hit that neighbour's shed though.
Yeah. Well,
the
neighbour's shed's taken enough of a beating. Was it me? Was it the previous owners? I don't know. It's a mystery.
So you mentioned, Nick, it's your job now. What were you doing before?
Yes, I was a teacher previously, a PE teacher. So yeah, it was a job that I enjoyed at certain times and enjoyed certain parts of it. And in the end, I was incredibly glad to leave the profession, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you're working with in a high school, primary school. Well, I don't go into details, but obviously for a period of time, and kids are exhausting. I'm a teacher, by day, and I'm pretty thankful that when I come home, I can mow the lawn and just forget about some of that stuff for a couple of hours, and then go back again and do it all the next day.
Yeah. I guess for me, like, something that really knocked me in the mental health, mental illness sort of space was losing a job that I absolutely loved. So it was 2020, so the first year of COVID, and I had a job which I was performing well in, and I applied for a leadership position at the end of that year. And I was told that, so there were 6 spots, and I was told I was really close, and I was basically 7th. So I was like, okay, no worries. But as you would know, Chris, like the way sort of teaching can work is that everyone sort of strives to an ongoing position in a school, and you're locked in. Whereas a lot of people can end up in contracted positions that just goes year after year. And so I had to reapply to go into a 3rd single year contract. And I very much, based on this is where this story can get long, but based on some things I'd been told, which people then retracted later on. Yeah, it's a whole story. But I was sort of told, "You're right, mate. Just do whatever." And it's on me as well. It's definitely on me. And I learned a big life lesson, which I try to pass on if I can. Is that I went into the application process then, and I took it really easy. So at the end of it, when the panel sort of had to rank who was the best interview, who was the best resume, who was the best, all the different bits and pieces. And I'd really just kind of taken it as an inconvenience, like, I'm planning for next year and I'm already doing these, got all these things for next year. And I've been doing all this stuff the last couple of years and everyone's, like I get good feedback and stuff. It's just merely a formality. And then, part of this process was like, no, you weren't the best applicant. And that news at that time, when Kate was 3 or 4 months pregnant with our second, so Ollie's 1.5 at the time, and I was the major breadwinner, and just kind of knocked me massively. So I think the way I handled it as well. So Josh, probably flowing on from you talking a little bit about alcohol. Something that I did that night was I got so drunk, and I was just in tears, like bawling my eyes out. I'd sent a couple of messages. A mate tried to call me. I couldn't talk because I was just crying so much. And just the next I took a few days off, and then it was the weekend, and then even the night before going back to work, that next day, like had a liquid dinner, and I just really dealt with it poorly in that time. And it's something that I probably grew up with. If you have a good day, have a drink. If you have a bad day, have a drink. If you're excited, have a drink. If it's a hot day, if it's a cold day, sort of anything was an excuse to have a drink. So it's something that I try to carry forward with me now. So, loss of family members in recent years and just things happening, just try to be aware that, I think I'm not fully like demonizing it. And I think, if you sometimes even now, like, you might just have a day and you're like, I'd love to have a couple of beers tonight, and you might do that. But I think I really try to be aware as well to go, look, I had a couple last night and the night before that too. Like, don't make this a pattern sort of thing. And like, it's never become a longer term issue really for me. And it's something that I implemented a few years ago as well, just as a health sort of thing, but just to also, be aware is to have 1 week in every single month that I don't drink at all. And I'm still carrying that on now. So just as a week to stay off it completely, because I, typically might end up 3-4 nights a week where I have 1, 2, maybe 3. So just to, I guess that coping mechanism with alcohol or any other drugs that anyone may turn to is that, me in that time, I really did handle it poorly, and it's something that I'll, hopefully hope to correct. And like I said, I grew up around it, and hopefully my kids won't.
Yeah, well, it comes down to like patterns of behavior, right? We learn to continue doing the things that make us feel good and that give us those dopamine hits and make us feel like we don't have to worry about our issues. And that's like with anything, right? So it could be like even communicating with a partner, or the way you are at work, or, picking up bad habits of, driving over the speed limit, anything like that brings us those little moments of joy or fulfillment, for some better word. It's learned behavior, and it's just as easy to unlearn it and to make those good habits and good routines and good behaviors going forward. So what does Movember mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's just, I think it's something that future generations are hopefully going to continue to get better at, is acknowledging their health and, reaching out if they do need help and all that sort of thing. I think we, past generations have definitely bottled things up, been tough, all that sort of stuff. And you still see it in society now. But I think just Movember as a sort of conduit to open up discussions, to kind of even a few stories I've posted, just of like, have you, that mate you haven't contacted for a while, like send them a message, things like that. And it's something personally I need to do better as well, is get in touch with mates more often. It's something that my wife is, she'll message her friends every day, multiple messages. I'm like, I haven't chatted to him for a month, like when we catch up, but
I think
still
all of us are guilty of that, mate.
Yeah, which also is, I personally can use it as a bit of a cop out sometimes. Like, all blokes were all bad at that, but it's something that I am trying to hold myself a little more accountable to is to, if I know that a mate's had a baby or a mate was, having a tough time or whatever it may be, to really stop, take the time and send that message, make that phone call, plan that dinner, all that sort of stuff. Because I think especially when you got little kids, it can feel, you've just got to get through the day to day, and you worry about leaving, your partner behind with the kids, sort of thing. But to make that time for that 9 holes of golf or whatever it may be, to maintain friendships and be able to, while you're out there smacking a ball around or whatever it is, having a coffee, to chat, how you going, how you been, all that sort of stuff, and try to as well crack through that surface level, talking about the project at home and how the gutter was 100 mil out and you had to fix it, and like just crap conversation that you can fall into of just an hour talking about a project you did and how you did it. But more so like, no, like, hey, how you actually going?
What are we actually doing?
I was just about to say the same thing, Nick. I think we fall into that kind of rigmarole, don't we? Where it's like, oh, have you spoken to Dave? It's like, yeah, I asked him, how's work? How are the wife and kids? How's the project car? You mowed the lawn recently? Like, yeah, I talked to him. But no, did you actually talk to him? It's, as you said, scratching that surface and going, how is work actually? Okay, you missed out on that job. How did that make you feel? Just going exploring a little bit deeper.
It can be a bit uncomfortable too at times to, I don't know, to ask those questions in a way. But I think
it can be,
as
but
blokes, if we all kind of, we all see Movember, we all, aware of, videos pop up in your feed and all that kind of stuff, around like, are you okay day and all that sort of stuff. And to, I guess it's up to the person you're speaking to as well to be in a position to want to open up, because, that's, you can ask the questions, but if, I just hope that by spreading more messages, blokes like us getting together, hopefully, and doing things like this and whatever, that it does make someone okay with going, no, I'm actually not that good, to be honest. Like, even recently, I had a conversation with a mate where I was like, mate, I'm really sorry I haven't checked on you recently, but I haven't checked in because I actually haven't been going that well, and I didn't want to make it a thing where I was like, hey, how are you? And you say, yeah, I'm good, how are you? And then I say, oh, not very good, because it was like I was fishing for the you to be my psychologist for a chat or whatever. It's like, it's weird things like that where, and he responded, he was like, mate, anytime, like don't feel like just ask me, and if you're not doing good, like, let's chat. So anyway, it's something that I think we are getting better at, and hopefully we do continue to get better and have those conversations. And in the physical health stuff as well, get checks and all that sort of stuff. If you got that lump that you're getting harassed about by your wife to go get checked or whatever, like, go do it. All that, look after your, like Liam, you were talking about the gym, like, look after your physical health, like, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, spot on. So a bit about me and kind of Project Resto and how it all kind of started. Essentially, my wife went through a pretty significant surgery a couple of years ago, and leading up to that, there was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. And like you, Liam, I had a panic attack. But for me, it was in the back of an RFS truck. So I'm in the local RFS. We were going out to training one day. And I remember my chest was feeling pretty tight. I was feeling dizzy, and I had a mate who was a paramedic. He was driving at the time. He's like, man, what's going on? I don't feel good. I'm just going to lay down. Ended up laying down in the back of the truck, and we got back to the station. We turned around, got back to the station, and I'm like, I think you need to call an ambulance. Like, I started getting real dizzy and a chest, getting harder and harder, and ended up in Westmead and had a full panic attack. And I remember my parents coming in, and I was in that kind of that room they put, that kind of initial kind of room they put you in when you're getting admitted. And like, my mum and dad were like, just calm down. I'm like, I remember my body shaking. I'm just like, I'm trying. I can't do it. And it was just through like severe dehydration. It was all of the stress and anxiety because of all the medical stuff that was happening in our lives. It was me not doing anything about it. And it was all building up to that point. And it got to that day where I thought, you know what, I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to go out to training, spend some time with some mates there. And that's where it hit me. And I was at, kind of sitting at rest. I wasn't doing anything. And it was just bang, it just hit. And yeah, from that, I remember one of the psychologists at the hospital came up to me at the time and was like, are you having any thoughts of self-harm or anything like that? I'm like, nope, that's all fine, all good. She's like, I'm going to make a referral for you to see a psychologist once you get discharged. And that sat there on the kitchen table for a couple of weeks. And it was me kind of coming to terms with like something's happened. I'm not quite sure how to explain it. I'm not quite sure how to understand it, but I need to do something about it. And I made a call and I booked in with a psychologist. And I was lucky that I got a guy that was of a similar age, and we connected through a shared passion of golf. And we used that as a way to talk about golf as a mental game, and some of the strategies that we drew from that in terms of like having an end goal and thinking about all those steps along the way and having tools like your golf clubs and all that kind of stuff. And I guess I got lucky. I got lucky with a really good psychologist I connected with and someone who I saw, for 20 plus sessions after that and still see at least twice a year. And it's been awesome. It's been great. And not every day is very good. Like not every day is amazing. I take medication to help me with regulate my mood and emotions, all that kind of thing. And that's been really helpful. But the one thing that I think has been the biggest constant in terms of support for me is having things that make me feel good. One of them being my lawn, one of them being mowers and having projects on the go all of the time. That's something where I can do something, I can get a sense of achievement out of it, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. So what would happen if I lost my garage? I don't know. We're back at square one. But
Can I ask, mate?
Yeah, go for it.
With the referral sitting there for a couple of weeks, because I feel like there's probably someone who's either watching this live now or watching it back later on with the recording, but who may be in a similar spot where they've been maybe thinking about it for a long time. Their referral may have been sitting there for 2 weeks or more. Like, what things were holding you back from not booking it the next day, and how'd you feel once you did book it in?
It just came down to accepting that I had a challenge or I had a problem, and being honest with myself about that. And like the more I delayed it, the more things weren't getting better. And so I took it off the table and I put it in the passenger seat of my car. And it became something I was looking at for a couple of days, and it got to a point where I pulled over, I picked up the phone, I thought, I just got to do it. I've got to do it now. I remember that conversation so vividly. It was, this really bright, bubbly person on the other end of the phone. She's like, "How can we help you?" And I'm just like, "I need help. I need to talk to someone." And it was as simple as that. Booked the appointment, and it was all done. So, if you are that person who's got a referral, who is considering, or putting it off, not yet, I'll do it next month, I'll do it next week, 2026 is coming, I'll do it then. Just do it now. Like, you've got nothing to lose by doing it now. And if it doesn't work out the first time, it's probably going to take you a couple of times to find someone you like or find someone you connect with. But ultimately, each time you do it, you're going to learn a little bit more about yourself, and it's going to become easier.
Yeah, and I want to
as well. Sorry,
just want to go back to two things you just said, Chris. Firstly, you need to recognize it early on, because it's not going to get any better, right? So the earlier you can recognize it before it peaks and you end up having that panic attack that forces you, if you're in a spot where you can recognize it, then absolutely I recommend, getting on top of it, right? Prevention is always better than the cure. And then secondly is finding the right health professional to talk to. That is so important. I've been to a few that I really didn't value that time with, because I just got nothing out of it. It was a clash of personalities and traits. So finding someone that you resonate with and can communicate with and get that goal achieved is so important. So please don't, if you are going through that process and you don't like the person you're speaking to, you are well within your rights to request another psych. They are all there to help you. Trust me, they don't get offended. They are more than happy for you to request that.
Yeah, 100%. And what I was going to say as well is, if you're fortunate enough to have someone close to you who is really supportive, like when I was seeing a psych for a few months there, it was my wife who booked it all in. Like I was on board, but I'm like this with anything really. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get to it. But she booked the doctor. She was like, yep, this is when it is. We had a bit of confusion a couple of times because she was getting all the confirmation texts. I was like, I thought it was at 12. No, it's at 1. But anyway, so having that as well, if, you know, again, for someone watching this, you know, if it's sitting there, it's like maybe whether it's a best mate or a partner or something, just go, look, I know I need this, but could you please book it? You know, maybe that is the barrier of actually you having to get on the phone to talk to that person and say, yeah, this is it. If you've got someone who could pick up the phone for you and go, yep, I'm calling on behalf of this person, can I book it in? Yep, good, bang, done. And then you just, you know, get the information, hey, your appointment's at this time. You know, that might be a way to overcome one of those barriers.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, like, even having someone go with you, not that they have to sit in on the appointment, but going with you, like you drive there, you're in control, you know, you're getting there and they can come with you, go up the lift, sit in the lobby together. Or if not, they can wait in the car. You're literally almost like you're taking a kid, you know, to an appointment or something like that. But it's not. It's someone who you trust and they know you and understand you. And if it all gets too much, you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do it right now. But at least you've made that step, to, you know, to try and get to that appointment. And the next time you do it, it'll get a little bit easier.
100%.
Kyle, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
I just can't see you that well, but that's all right.
Oh, sorry, it's gone
you.
dark where I was sitting. Sorry, man. I was just trying to flex on the lawn. That was all.
Oh, show us.
Thanks, Liam.
You might have to send us some pictures. I'll post something.
I've lost light where I'm sitting. I'm sorry, boys. You didn't realise I was listening with intent.
Mate, the fact you've had no power all day and had 2 kids to get to bed, like the fact you got in.
Oh, well, I got home and I basically loaded them both into a cannon and fired them into the same bed, and it actually worked.
Mate,
So
I'll buy that ebook. You tell me what you did.
I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to be home with being at the in-laws all afternoon.
Don't be too complimentary.
Hopefully
You
they're
had
not
a
watching
full head
that.
of hair at the beginning of the day.
What was that? Sorry.
I said you had a full head of hair at the beginning of the day. That's how.
I did,
stressful your
mate. Yeah,
day's
look at
been.
it. It looks even worse in this light. You don't see it from the back. Look, Yamaka's missing. Oh, boys, it's good to see you.
No, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out for us.
So you've had a new baby only in the last month or so.
I have, mate.
Power outage yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And all sorts of people stealing plants from your house and
that
all
was
sorts
fun.
of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
It's
tell us a
petty,
little
mate.
bit. Well, plants are expensive.
They are, buddy. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Battler's Lawn and how it all kind of started.
Yeah, I kind of started off. It's like a ringing bell, like talking to you boys. To be honest with you, it's like I need to do something. Like I need to take it away from my personal thing. I kind of want to make like a little thing of it. Like there was nothing kind of to it, but like it was like, oh yeah, I'll give this a hit. You know what I mean? And I kind of used to always be into lawn care, like quite a house proud, if you know what I mean, but not really into it. And then I started doing bits and pieces, and then like everyone, it seems like the same thing and same kind of story. I mean, so it's like COVID hit, and at the time, so I'm medically retired now, but I was in the cops for about 14 years, and at the time, like COVID hit, and I get this phone call, and they're like, "Oh, can you come into work? You got to go into the city, pick up a hire van, and you're driving to the border to close the border to Victoria." So we were able to keep Nick out for that long. But like literally it was like that. I'm like, oh fuck, okay. Like drove the border, and to be honest with you, it was like a blissful away from family vacation almost, apart from just having to do stupidity and turn people away because they lived on Uchuka or the other side. But I stayed at a golf course. No one there, and just went down and started like talking to like the greenkeepers and stuff every day. Like was like had like downtime in between shifts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this would be sick. And next minute I know I'm, you know, researching like how to buy Scott Bonners on like marketplace and messaging different people. And one of the guys I was with is like actually like a predominant guy in the mower scene. Like I was working with him. He's like typical guy. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, I've got a couple of these. Like, how many have you got? Oh, I've got like eight or 10 of them, like on the go. Like, what the fuck? You know, then it's lawns, and you know, next thing going back and buying a mower off him, and met people and met Liam and did stuff with Liam, and you know, and next minute I was hiring a core and putting in a scarifier through the lawn and putting in irrigation and Bob's Urania. Now, I think I was one of the first adapters for Tahoma lawn in like New South Wales, because I'm like, oh, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, apart from winter. But yeah, like just kind of kicked it off, and it became like a mental health release. Like just put earphones in. I'm going to go out today. I'm going to do hedges. I'm going to build a mower. I can bring a mower home and like restore it, and message Liam and be like, oh, what paint colors can you get me, or what parts can you get me, or you know, next minute I'm stripping one down and then I'm coming home and I'll restore this one and it's in pieces in 40 minutes on the table now. You know what I mean?
That's the easy bit, pulling it apart.
Yeah, it is.
Putting it back
you know what the hardest part is literally separating yourself from your wallet.
Yeah.
But
I can help.
But yeah, mate. Yeah. No, you do help with that. But yeah, it's like it just became a thing, and like I find like for me, like just having something to do, like having that hobby or having something where you can just be like, oh yeah, to step away from whatever rigmarole you have of your life or the drama of it. But obviously, I don't know, did you want to ask a different question at all, Chris, or am I rambling now?
Like it's up to you, mate. So like I think we're on to mowers now, so we might as well
but
jump in and go a little further with that, unless you wanted to chat about something specific in terms of
I had a similar had a similar thing like with my thing. Like I've left my job now. Unfortunately, like I got medically retired. Kind of like pushed out the door that way, and it was like something that I did, or I thought I did, for many years, like quite passionately, like all the way through like promotions process and all that kind of stuff, and like, you know, running and gunning for all those years. And it was kind of like, oh, you think you get that kind of stigma, especially when I started. It was like kind of a little old school still, and you get this stigma, especially when you get into those workplaces of, oh, it'll be right. Like, oh, it's just another bad car crash, or it's just another something's happened, or you know what I mean? And they do, you know, like many places, like everyone's terrible at mental health, like of actually helping out with it, I find. But like, there's just not the coping thing in where I was at my workplace for it. It was kind of like to the point where I took a few days off. And I'm like, oh, I need to take a break, like for my mental health, like it's getting too much kind of thing. And like take the day off, and the next day it's like, oh yeah, mate, it says you got a few days off. Well, can you come in and work this shift instead? Like, oh mate, fuck, give it a rest, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, similar thing. I ended up having like a terrible panic attack to the point where come home from work one day after the night shift, and like, I'm like, oh, this is just terrible. I feel terrible. Like, you just feel terrible. And next thing I know, like, wife's at work, kids at daycare. Fuck me, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, literally. I'm like, so I call for help, and the guy that comes, he's like, oh mate, you're all right. Like, you need to come with me to the hospital, and, you know, go down to the hospital and get checked out and get helped and all this kind of stuff. And finally some doctor comes and sees you for ages, and you realise you haven't had an ECG monitor plugged in for the last 40 minutes. And you're like, oh mate, she's just like, mate, you need help. Like,
you've been running a marathon for the last hour.
Yeah. Like, you need to go actually get help. Here's a go see your GP, go see a referral. And it's funny, Chris, you mentioned it before about the referral. It's sat in my top drawer. I've got a shit drawer where I just shove stuff in. It's sat in my top drawer, like, probably for like 3 or 4 weeks, along with a prescription for medication. Yeah. And I went and saw the GP finally, and he's like, oh mate, we've got to move you away from this. And, you know, long story short, my workplace wouldn't come to an agreement, so which they didn't do at the time, and here I am. But one thing I'd say for it is if you need to help yourself, really. Like that's a hard hurdle to get over. Like it's easy to go like, oh, go stop feeling bad, or go. You need to find what you can do to make yourself feel better. Like whether or not that's mowers, whether or not that's cars, whether or not that's freaking painting battle scenes for miniatures or something like that. Like seriously, like you know what I mean? Or whether or not it's, you know,
it's doing something for you. And
yeah, you've got to find
your
niche. Like you've got to find your downtime, but you've also just got to help yourself. Like you've got to go to the gym. You've got to put down realize you put down that drink. That was a big thing for me as well. Like our culture from where we were from work was, it was like a lot of, we used to call it drink and forget. So it was, you know, bad days turned into whole blocks at work, you know, that kind of thing. Bad nights turned into, you know, after night shift, I'll have a couple of shower beers before I go to bed because that was a rough night, you know what I mean? You know, that kind of thing. That once you overcome those hurdles, you become, I think even Josh, you'd probably agree, you become clearer. You see like the bigger picture for it, you know what I mean? Like you realize, that is holding me back, or that is, but you've got to get to that stage where you can do that, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. I failed at it many times, right? Like I was 11 years in the Air Force, so you know, massive drinking culture again, right?
Yeah, same thing, yeah.
And so the cops would be the same, but you know, before I went sober this last time, which, you know, 14 months, which I'm super proud of, but I went 8 months sober before then and did that age-old trick where I thought, you know, 8 months sober, cool, I've got a handle on my drinking. Like, you know, for someone like me who just can't drink because it has consequences, you know, I had to learn that lesson the hard way over and over and over again. And I was lucky enough to have a good support network that stuck by me through that process. And, you know, I'm here now, but 100%, mate, like, cutting that out was the single best thing that I've done so far for my own self. Yeah, the benefits are endless.
You get a better clarity on it, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You can see it for what it is. Like I recognize, like I'm seeing a psych right now, and that only started a few weeks ago. But I was quick enough to recognize that, hey, I'm not myself. You know, I'm not drinking, so there's not that to blame. You know, let's find out what this is. You know, it's, you know, something I'm not familiar with. Always had drink to blame, but so yeah, working through that process, which is a little bit different for me this time because it's a new approach, right? Different set of different scenario, but yeah, as Nick was saying, for someone who isn't like me, I guess, in terms of how their brain's wired, you know, like absolutely, if going to the pub and having a beer with your mate gets them to start talking and opening up, then all for it, right? But yeah, I think you need to there needs to be a line, I guess, at some point in recognising sort of what they're struggling with, and certainly not encouraging. But yeah, it's a difficult one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think something you both said was about trying to catch it early, and yeah, if you're starting to go downhill a bit in some facet of life, is to try and go, hold on a sec. I've been really impatient for the last couple of weeks, or I've been really, you know, I haven't been sleeping, or whatever it may be, and you might
or even just quiet. Like you haven't been yourself. You know, haven't been talking much, and
not feeling yourself and all those kind of things. And it's like, oh yeah, actually, I haven't been in the gym for 3 weeks. Yeah, no, I haven't been mowing the lawn. I haven't been doing whatever it may be. So yeah, trying to recognise, I think, what is good for you, and kind of those. Life has those ebbs and flows, doesn't it? There's always going to be times where you just, a few things are happening and you're just feeling a bit shitty. It doesn't have to be a massive event or anything like that, but if you can just kind of go, you know what, I really feel like I just need to catch up with that one specific mate, because we always have an awesome chat. I always feel better after we've hung out or whatever it may be, you know?
Can I touch on that as well, Nick? And I think similar to your point, you guys were talking about the downward spiral with alcohol or coping mechanisms or whatever, but I think it's also realizing and catching yourself when you're at the top and going, well, no, I don't have a problem because I am going to the gym and I am getting up and walking the dog and my work's on time and I don't feel tired. Just because you're doing all of those toxic things or doing something you know to be bad for you and meeting your obligations doesn't mean you're okay as well. Like you can be you can be unwell at the top end of the spectrum or at the low functioning end too. So
Yeah, true.
I think it's about having that self-awareness too. And Josh touched on it perfectly. He's like, if I remove certain variables and I know I'm doing poorly, okay, well, what's to blame? What is making me feel this way?
Yeah. Some really good points, and like I think tonight it's actually been really good, just the way we're all kind of speaking honestly around how, what we've been experiencing and bouncing off each other. And that's, if anything, that's what a good conversation is, right? You're picking up, you're listening twice as much as you're talking, and you're taking it in, and you're giving back in some kind of way. Do we want to kind of finish up by just maybe talking about or sharing some of the what's next, some of the projects that are coming up for some of us? I know this was slightly off cue, but something that we're looking forward to maybe over the next, as we get closer to the end of the year, into 2026.
I'm happy to go first.
Something.
Sorry. Me first. No, I think something like we were talking about it before we started. We went live, but got school holidays coming up. Kids have got 8 weeks. 6, 4, and 5 months. So I think something that I really want to try and focus on is enjoying those 8 weeks. There's going to be fights. There's going to be arguments between, the two boys and whatever else. And Grace is going to have her rough days. But I think really trying to see it as a chance, like I get to spend the next period of time with the kids, because, you hear those conversations and stuff. It's like, oh, bloody school holidays. Like, how are we going to get through the next, it's bloody so long, and all that sort of thing that you hear from parents. But I really, because your kids hear that as well. So I think I really want to put that focus on, and look, no doubt there will be days where Kate will have time off throughout there, but she'll also be working, and I'm sure there'll be days where it's like, love to mow lawn when you get home. And she'll walk in and I'll say, catch you later.
I'll be back.
And off we go. I think that's something that I'm looking forward to trying to make the most of and enjoy, and be doing things with the kids. If we didn't get spring, so hopefully we get summer in Melbourne. Just sort of that's something coming up for me anyway.
Yeah, mad.
Very similar, I think, mate. Just looking forward to some time off over Christmas. Couple of weeks just to really dive into that family time, and then moving through the first half of next year. We're expecting a little girl in May, so it's going to be a very busy period. Going to have to ramp up the lawn care. So hopefully my wife's not listening still. In all seriousness, it's gonna, we're so excited. So get our little man at the moment, get him into his own room. And then start the process of setting up the nursery and stuff all over again. So pretty excited. Oh, super excited actually, not pretty excited, but no doubt very busy too.
Baby central in this chat.
It's a common theme between the lawn nerds and babies.
Well, they're the same amount of care, right? If not more.
See, when I tried to put
fungal.
When I tried to put a bit of lawn tips mix in Grace's bottle, it wasn't too happy, to be honest. So first solids are going to be some granular fert, maybe.
There's mini Pril.
Mini Pril. I'm not a monster. I heard it goes well with
you can start on liquids.
If she's growing too quick, a bit of PGR maybe. Get some of that into the boys. They're eating a lot.
Make sure she stays hydrated with some wetting agent.
Before this goes completely south, Liam, something for you coming up.
I actually have a really short-term win. I've got a boys' weekend that we start tomorrow, so that's a weekend with the lads. We're going down the coast. We're playing some golf, which off the back of this chat seems to be a common theme that maybe stresses us all out. I don't know how much dopamine it's delivering, and I'm sure I will play terribly tomorrow, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So a weekend full of really good conversations with my immediate support network. Then we'll finish the year strong through the business. We've been giving away a lot of stuff at the moment, which has been really satisfying, just to be able to give back to the community. and then be able to sit down over Christmas, look back at the goals I set in January, and see what we ticked off, and then what's rolling over into 2026.
Yeah, awesome, Kyle.
Sorry, I just want to ask Liam one quick one before. Mate, you said earlier you get a haircut every Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. What's more important, the haircut or the boys' trip?
I got it today.
The Thursday cut.
Fresh cut.
Yeah, a haircut and a pump for the boys' weekend. So
All right, I'll stand down. Sorry.
Speak of PGR, mate, you could do that fortnightly.
there's some growth regulation going on, but I'm not sure we're slowing anything down, Nick. So
if anyone's got any scarifyings from theirs,
yeah, you could do with some.
oh, right, I have to get one of those filters next time.
Got to tell you for that.
So, Kyle, you've got a unicorn that's joined the family recently.
Yeah,
Might be, getting some work over the break.
Oh, mate, my time doesn't differ, unfortunately, with the 3 kids and staying home, and they're not at school or anything, so it's the same difference. But I have thought about, like if I just go out there one night and go to town, it might happen. It might happen, but I'm actually undecided what to do with it, whether or not to leave it at Tina and then do my typical famous Honda swap with the billet bits, or whether or not to go all in and do some kind of nice colour or something like that. But
I'll send you some colours in a centrifugal clutch kit, mate. We'll get that thing dialed.
I was waiting for that. Can you send a bearing kit and a bolt kit as well? Thank you.
You got it, baby.
Yeah, apart from that, we're house hunting at the moment. I think I've spoken to you about that, Chris, a few times. So
yeah, down the road, still for sale. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, down the road, still for sale. Can probably maybe stay there because it's on a rock face.
Yeah, it's not.
So there's not much lawn going on there. Yeah. But yeah, mate, we're doing that. So Battlers Estates got to probably move on because we're out of space, unfortunately, at home. So we've my wife and I have lovingly lived here for almost 14 years. But it's one of those things. Nick's probably done it as well, like a while back when he moved there. It's like the space kind of disappears on you, and next thing you're just parking Hot Wheels cars rather than actual cars on the driveway. And
no matter how many cupboards you got, you always fill it with more shit.
Oh, mate,
you never know where it comes from.
My wife's like, we better start cleaning up to do that cleaning phase to try and sell. And we've filled 12 Bunnings tubs of stuff, and there's still more inside, that I can trip over. So apart from that, boys, just family stuff over Christmas, and yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yourself, Chris?
For me, I've been dying to get a cylinder mower on the iron cutter at the farm since it went down in February, and we're close. As soon as I get this off the bench, we'll be getting it cut with that.
That'll be pretty epic out there.
I'm so looking forward to it. It's 50 square meters never brought me so much joy. It's unreal and yeah, so really good. I know it's trivial, but yeah, also just looking forward to a bit of a sleep in and just some downtime. Yeah. It's been a busy year, and like everyone always has a busy year, and it feels like that kind of last sprint towards the end is exhausting for everyone. So I think on that, for anyone still with us on the stream, I think it's important that we're all taking a bit of time for ourselves over the next little period, not to get caught up in all of the busyness. Put yourself first. Check in with yourself. Check in with a mate. Grow a moustache. Do something for you that brings you joy and fills up your cup just that little bit more. And yeah, so thank you all for joining us, guys. And hopefully Momentum 2026 could be a little bit bigger, or even some kind of different event that we run respectively in our own states. But yeah, it's been good, and I really enjoyed chatting with each of you. And thank you for sharing your time and your stories with us.
And thanks for
thanks for that, Chris.
Yeah, a credit to you, Chris. 2 weeks ago, none of us have really spoken at length, and you pulled this all together, mate. I know you've been a long time advocate of the Movember cause, so well done, buddy. Did really well.
Thank you all.
Just before we go, looking at the screen here, are we going with Chris's mow, or are we going with Nick's?
What about
we could be it's hard to...
Sorry, Josh. You're dropping out.
That's 13 months of pure.
was a
From
kite
last
was a
year.
missing person, but he's not in the cops anymore.
There's a couple of serious brooms up there, man. All
It's all
right.
right. We can't pick our genetics. It's just how it is.
When you guys shave those off, just send them my way. Yeah.
Save some of
Did
the
you want
terrifying.
Yeah, why not? You can sprinkle it through. Yeah.
Bit of ginger.
Oh, sounds good.
Just on top.
All right, boys.
It's been great, lads. Well done.
Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
fellas.
All right, guys.
Catch you. See ya.
Have a good night.
Thank you.